Sports Talk. Let's go.
What's up? What it is, everyone? Good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're listening. I'm your host, Ryan Flowers, aka Clutch Sports Talk, and welcome to NFL Matchups Week 18 edition. Yes, the final week of the regular season is amongst us, and we got lots to talk about. I'm going to be talking about who's hot and who's not going into the playoffs, right? This is the time where we're going to see what team is clicking on all cylinders and what team is falling apart and just kind of getting across the finish line there. And of course, it would not be NFL Matchups if I did not break down all 16 games in Week 18 of the National Football League. So if you love football, you want to talk some sports, talk NFL in general, this is the place to be. So sit back and relax and enjoy the show. This is NFL Matchups with me, Ryan Flowers. Let's go.
We're going to be here all day, baby. I like this kind of party. I like this kind of party, baby.
All right, welcome in, everybody. Hope you guys are doing all right, man. Hope you guys had a very, very Merry Christmas and happy holidays so far as we enter the new year, which is right around the corner. We got a day or two left in 2025. So looking to start fresh in 2026. If you're watching right now on YouTube, man, make sure you guys drop a like, subscribe, share the content. And also drop a comment too. And also on Facebook as well, like the content, share the content. And if you're watching me live on TikTok, man, I appreciate you guys. Drop a sub, get the likes going, man. Let's get up to 1,000 likes here within the next hour or so if we can. And also just and share the stream as well. So, but like I said at the top of the show, man, we're going to be talking about who's hot, who's not, NFC, AFC, all the teams that are going to be not all the teams, but some teams that we consider championship contending teams. Who's hot and who's not going into the playoffs, and of course, breaking out all the games. But before we get to that too, also check out the Grid Network YouTube. We got a bunch of content creators there that are doing their thing. Also check us out on the Grid Network on TikTok as well as Instagram. And you can follow me there and there below that you guys can see where you can reach me at on YouTube right now. So, and if I'm watching on Twitter right now, I believe I'm at like 839 subscribers. So if you drop your boy a sub, man, I appreciate that too. See if we can get to 1,000 before the year ends in the next couple of days or so. So appreciate the help and support. All right, let's get into it, man. Let's talk about some teams who are hot and teams that are not. So we will start with, let me get myself out of the picture here. Oh, hold on. I think I loaded this incorrectly. So long. Let me switch this up for a second. Nothing like live TV for you there. Hold on one second, folks. We want to overlay. 1 second. So, all right. Of course, it's going to take a second here. So we're going to be talking about who's hot and who's not right now as we're doing that, as I'm loading up the background here, but it's taking forever to load. Of course, it would happen on live. All right. All right, here we go. Sorry, who's hot and who's not? For those on TikTok, you can't see it unless you head over to YouTube, but I'll call it out for you guys. So in no particular order, I'm going to start with the LA Rams only because most people would think, well, why is the LA Rams on the hot list? I know they lost last night. I know they dropped their last two. I get all that. I think last night was an outlier. I think they really don't have much to play for other than the 5 or 6 seed because they know they can't win or get the number 1 seed in the NFC. I think that went out the window when they lost to Seattle. But I think they got on that plane to Atlanta and they thought, well, the Falcons, they're not making the playoffs. What do they have to play for? And I think the Rams just weren't prepared. Matthew Stafford did not play well, obviously. 3 interceptions, if I'm not mistaken. So, very weird game, right? They were down 21-0 earlier. They come back, they tie the game, they lose by a field goal. Some questionable calls, some phantom pass interferences, incomplete, complete catches, whatever the case may be. It was kind of a weird game. But hear me out for a minute here, especially if you're watching on YouTube. On TikTok. So the Rams are one of those teams I think is still hot. And the reason why is I think that although Matthew Stafford did not play well at all last night, obviously, he still has that pedigree. Now he's very immobile now, right? And their offensive line is a big problem for the LA Rams. I will say that, right? But if he can play mistake-free football, which he's done that, right? I know he can do that. It's within his scope there. That's what's one thing to consider, right? The Rams are also very skilled. They have arguably one of the best tandems at wide receiver in Davante Adams and Puka Nacua. Davante Adams, hopefully he can get healthy with that hamstring. That'll help them down the long run. Puka Nacua, pretty quiet night for the most part last night, but still a force to be reckoned with, right? You look at some of their defensive players like Jared Verse, they can get after it. Kyron Williams in the backfield there. This is a young team, also coached by a really, really good coach in Sean McVay. Sean McVay is one of the best coaches in the National Football League. Whether you agree with it or not, it's pretty hard to debate. I mean, even last year, like that season probably should have fell apart, and it was looking that way, but they still kind of turned things around and had a positive season overall. But this team, I still think, if right now as it stands, like they would probably be on the road right now going to Philadelphia to play in the playoffs. Okay. But I wouldn't be surprised if they beat Philadelphia because they can, right? They almost did earlier in the season. And I wouldn't be surprised if they lost to Philadelphia. So it is what it is, right? So they're still one of those teams, I think, that's very dangerous in the NFC, despite that loss last night. I think personally, they just kind of they overlooked the Falcons. I don't think they were really buying into that game. I think they're just like, well, let's just get to the end of the season. And then even this week coming up against the Cardinals, it's like Sean McVay says that he's going to play his guys, right? We'll see how long he plays them for, but really the game means nothing to them. They can either be the 5th or the 6th. So I think they would probably rather be the 5th, because if I'm not mistaken, the 5th would probably play the winner between the Panthers and the Buccaneers. So, which is probably an easier game to open up with if you got to open up on the road versus going to the defending Super Bowl champs in Philadelphia. So I don't know, but they're still one of those teams. Another team that's still hot, I think, Seattle Seahawks. For the most part, they're playing with house money. I mean, they got a good coach, good offense. Jackson Smith and Jigba just crazy, doing crazy work back there. Defensive line, one of the best outside of the Texans. They get after the quarterback better than nobody else, right? They're going to be at home, at least for a game or so, right? And their run game, they're very physical. They can hit you in the mouth and they can go over the top with the JSN. They got a plethora of tight ends that they can throw to. And Mike McDonald is a very good head coach. Simple as that. He is a very good head coach. And you know what? At the end of the day, playing in Seattle is very tough. So I still think they're a team that contend. The only thing I would say about Seattle, and Seattle fans may get on me for this, is, Sam Darnold. Is he reliable? Is he capable to win a big game? The last time we saw him in a big game was a week ago against the Rams. Didn't start well for him. They ended up winning the game, so shout out to him. He played better in the second half. But when you go back and think about it, think about when was the last really, really meaningful big game Sam Darnold has won, right? I mean, it hasn't been a lot, obviously, because he played for the Jets. They weren't playing in any meaningful games. He had a stint in Carolina, and then he was kind of shelved in San Francisco for a little bit. So maybe USC, Penn State in the Rose Bowl a couple years ago, almost 10 years ago, maybe. I don't know. So we'll see. But still a team, I think, that has a chance to make it to the Super Bowl because of that defense. And if Sam Darnold can play lights out, then there's no stopping them. But it all rests on the arm and the shoulders of Sam Darnold. If I felt a little bit more confident in him, I would probably say outright, they are probably one of the top teams, if not the top team in all the National Football League. They're super balanced. So they're still one of the hot teams. Another hot team that took an L they won the game on Sunday night. Great game, by the way. The San Francisco 49ers. Now, if you'd have told me Nick Bosa, Fred Warner's out, George Kittle missed some time, Brandon Ayuk, God knows what happened to him, didn't play a significant amount of time, and they're in contention for the number 1 seed. Like, how is that even possible? Brock Purdy missed 3-4 games, if I'm not mistaken, right? Mac Jones played and they went like 3-0 or something crazy like that. I don't know. The 49ers is just a really good example of great organizational structure, right? You got from the front office down to the coaching onto the field. They are literally, when you hear teams or coaches say next man up, that's the San Francisco 49ers. They are literally the next man up because they're missing stars in key positions and still getting the job done. Now, granted, the defense got cooked on Sunday, right? They had, and that's going to happen. I mean, listen, the NFL is designed for the offense to be more successful than the defense. Okay. Yo says, what's your thoughts on Bears versus 49ers? And I'm glad you asked that question, and I will get your question just in a second. If we can get to 1,000 likes, we're at 724 here on TikTok. But overall, this team is getting healthy at the right time. Hopefully they'll get Kittle back for the playoffs, which they should. They're dominant in the trenches. Regardless, Trent Williams didn't even play, right? He played like one snap and got hurt on Sunday, right? And they're still able to run the ball with CMC. They can still make the plays. And Brock Purdy, man, for whatever it's worth, whether he's a system quarterback or not, the dude is playing lights out, man. Lights out. And I'm a Cowboys fan, but I got to give credit where credit's due. Like, he couldn't do anything bad other than that pick 6 he threw in the beginning of that game. 49ers are a team to be reckoned with. I get it. Maybe the injuries might come back to haunt them in the end, but they're well coached. They're very consistent, and they have the pedigree. They've been to the Super Bowl. They've made deep playoff runs, right? So to count them out because they're missing some guys, well, it's been a long season, and they've been able to battle to where they are now. So I got to give them credit for that. So they're a hot team. Chicago Bears, the team that they beat on Sunday, they're still hot. Caleb Williams looking really good under Ben Johnson. I was a little skeptical of not Ben Johnson, but Caleb Williams, but Ben Johnson has really turned his game around. Still some things to tweak there, but overall, offense look good. The running game is good. I didn't realize how many good wide receivers they have. Roma Dunze did not play again for like the third or fourth straight week. And he's still throwing the ball to guys like Luther Burden, who sound like R&B singers from like the 90s. Okay. Like who are these guys? Defense is okay. They're trending upward right there. They I believe they lead the league in like most takeaways or something like that. The only thing with them is I don't know, because they are young. A lot of them haven't had experience making deep runs in the playoffs. Even Ben Johnson as a play caller, even as a head coach, like hasn't had a lot of experience either, right? But to go back to that game on Sunday, that potentially could be an NFC Conference Championship. I don't think it will be. I think the Bears might fall a little bit just because of their inexperience. I think that's my personal opinion. Okay, I think it's going to boil down to teams that have experience and have a pedigree at the quarterback and coaching position. That's my take on it all right now. And to be fair, who knows at this point? Like, anybody can be in the Super Bowl. All right, this is a very untraditional year where you don't really have a lot of teams that are just standing out that there. On YouTube, we got some comments. Oh, damn. Here he is. CJ Smooth, 13. He got the damn Eagles. Get out of here. But Happy New Year's to you, man. Go Birds. Yeah, we'll see. I can't stand the Eagles, but credit due, got to give them props. All right, another hot team, Jacksonville Jaguars. Liam Cohen, rookie head coach, wins the division. I believe they won the division. I think they took care of business, or has an opportunity to win the division. After this team won like 3 or 4 games last year, if I'm not mistaken. Trevor Lawrence looking pretty good, pretty good. He's playing composed, strategic football. Defensive line is creating turnovers. They went on the road the week before into Denver against the number 1 seed team, quote unquote. Denver Broncos beat them. Got a little scare against Phillip Rivers last week in Indianapolis, but they came through. But it's a divisional game. But their offense is balanced. They're running the football. They're throwing the football. They're not turning the ball over. And the coaching has been pretty creative as well. So I do appreciate that. All right, guys, let's get up on TikTok. Let's get up to 1,000 likes, man. We're stuck at 725, and make sure to drop a sub if you can. Where Trayvon gonna go? I think the Bears. I don't know, man. I mean, does anybody really want him at this point? Maybe the Rams can use some secondary help because I think their secondary is a little lacking too. But maybe the Rams, they can fit him in somewhere. Perhaps that's another team I can think about. But back to the Jaguars. At the end of the day, this team, I'm kind of like watching them, but I'm keeping my distance too, just because it's the Jags. Like, it's the Jags. Like, they're not a team with the pedigree, right? They don't have it. I mean, Trevor Lawrence, one playoff win? I think, no, maybe is it one playoff win or 1 or 2 playoff wins, if I'm not mistaken. All right. So Liam Cohen hasn't been a head coach. This is his first year. So we'll see how it goes. I will say, though, a lot of other teams are kind of in that same boat with them, like New England. We'll talk about them next, actually, here. So New England Patriots. Defense is pretty good. Drake May's playing pretty good as well, too. He's got limited turnovers a little bit, but I do like what I'm seeing. I like the offense, the way they're running the football, the way he's able to distribute the football. That game against the Ravens, to me, when week 16 on Sunday night for Drake, that's the first time I really got to sit down and watch Drake May. And I liked what I saw. Other than some of the he had an interception and he had a fumble. He got to clean that stuff up. But he's a young guy. But I think if he's clicking on all cylinders, and if they can get this number 1 seed, perhaps that, all paths go to Foxborough. And usually when that happens, the Patriots are very successful. Coaching experience doesn't matter for them, and they have a coach that does have experience. I will say this, though, Mike Vrabel, although he's been a really good coach, has had teams that have flopped in the playoffs. You go back to some of his Titans teams that were higher seeds, like a number 1 seed. You don't know. And they got bounced out of the playoffs a couple of times. So we'll have to wait and see with them. But I do like the Patriots. They're growing on me a little bit. All right, guys, we made it to 1K likes on TikTok. Let's get it going, man. Let's get up to 2,000 if we can. Sub my channel. Also share the content too as well. Let's read some comments before we move on here. We got my boy P Brown. He says, shocked the Rams lost 2 straight. Drake May sign seal the MVP. Yeah, I agree. I'm not that shocked. I feel like the Rams probably were just like, we're going to Atlanta. Who cares? Like, they suck. We probably win that game with our eyes closed. And they got a game, and then they realized, like, oh crap, we got to get on, and we got to get on our shit. And I think in the end, it's just they ran out of time. I think that's what happened. And it happens. It's the NFL. Teams get overlooked. Patrick says Trevor is 1-1 in the postseason play. His long win. Yeah, I remember against the Chargers after LA jumped out. Yeah, right. That was that infamous game there. So, Trevor Lawrence, not a lot of experience. Patrick says, scariest team nobody wants to play. Houston, number 1 defense. I am glad you said that, Patrick, because they were the next team. Houston Texans, another team that's hot. CJ Stroud playing really good football. After starting 0-3, they've come back to rattle off consecutive wins, right? Like where a lot of us thought they were dead in the water. They have an explosive passing game. The defense feeds off the momentum and I think it's still Reliant or Energy Stadium. And right now, I think they have a nothing to lose mentality. However, though, again, similar to Sam Darnold and Seahawks quarterback play, CJ Stroud is going to have to elevate his game even more so in the playoffs because you're going to be playing better teams. And to me, the AFC is wide open. The AFC is super wide open, in my opinion. Let's keep the likes up on TikTok, guys. We're stuck at 1,000, but I do like the Texans. I think if it's a close game, they can really make things happen. But if they get out in a shootout with somebody like the Patriots, even like the Jaguars, I don't think they can keep pace. I don't think CJ Stroud has it in him. Although I do like CJ, that defense is scary. It is a very scary defense. Yes, I think the AFC is still wide open. Like, and what's your name? I use Linux, whatever your name is. Explain to me why you don't think it is. I think the whole NFL playoffs is wide open. There's not really one concrete team, and only people that say that they're probably fanboys of a team, and so they're going to think that their team is the end all be all. But I think most people that analyze football, that watch it and just are objective about it, they'll say it's a wide open race. I don't think there's one team that can come away with it because all these teams here, even these teams that I'm going to list on the not list, can easily win a game on the road or at home. Like that's how it's been all year. That's how it's been all year. So when you read comments like that from people that probably don't even watch enough football, step your game up a little bit there. Appreciate that. All right, we got some more comments here. Rams no longer hot. Yeah, I think they still are. And I was on the border of leaving them off this list, but I still think that they just need to not figure it out. I think they just need to say, you know what, it's time. I think they're just trying to get to the playoffs. I think their strategy probably was like, well, we can win this game or not and end up playing, the Eagles or maybe playing the Panthers or Buccaneers. I don't know, right? But you saw once they figured it out that they got back in that game. I think that's my opinion. They have it in them. They have the explosive offense. Their defense can get after it. So we'll see. Granted, they're probably not hot, but I think they're like a microwave. They can heat up rather quickly if need be. I think so. We'll see. All right, let's move on. Teams that are not hot, and I might catch flack for this, but let's see. Denver Broncos. I know. They are like the number one seeded team right now, and I get that. But let's be real, man. Denver Broncos are living on a prayer. A lot of come from behind wins or one score wins or 1 point wins. I don't buy that. I don't think they're dominant enough. I know their defense is good. Don't get me wrong. I think their defense is really good for sure. But Bo Nix, man, he's not doing it for me. You know, it's very inconsistent. And I say this every week about him. He'll play like 3 quarters like crap and then turn it on in the last 8 minutes of a game. Like when the playoffs hit, you can't be doing that because the pressure is immense. How many of you guys watch playoff football and it feels like any little turnover, it feels like that's the end of the game versus week 10 and there's a turnover. You're like, oh, okay, whatever. We still got a whole half, but every little drop pass, every little missed tackle, every little missed block, anything, it's magnified in the playoffs. And Bo Nix, although he has the ability and has shown that he can be clutch, I don't know, man. I just don't trust him. And I think it's a lot to ask of the defense every week to hold serve while he just kind of screws around back there at the end of the day. At least that's my opinion on Denver. So to me, they're a little cold, right? They struggled a lot with some teams, they should have lost some of the games that they won. Jeff, I see you in the chat, man. You just missed it. I talked about your Niners. They were on the hot list. I gave praises to Brock Purdy for sure. Absolutely. All right, another team that's on the not list, the Buffalo Bills. It's just all Josh Allen. It's just all Josh Allen. Like, and I don't know if you can live by that week in, week out, man. I just don't think you can. All right, TikTok, let's get the likes up to 2,000, man. We're stuck here at 1,000. But they're just too reliant on him. And you can tell that he doesn't have confidence, especially in his wide receivers. I get it. You know, is it James Cook, the running back? He's pretty good. I ain't going to lie. He's good. But everything just goes through Josh Allen. He just that's it. And he was the only reason why they got back in that game on Sunday against the Eagles. So although this is like a perfect storm for them, Mahomes out, Burrow, Jackson, Lamar might make the playoffs. We'll see. We'll see what happens Sunday night. We'll talk about that game later. But this is like his moment. And like I said before, this is wide open. And they might get bounced out. Who knows, right? I mean, they're gonna have to go on the road. And maybe they want to go on the road. I don't know. I don't think they really want to go on the road, but who knows? Eagles offense is just garbage. I mean, shout out to my boy CJ, but the offense is terrible. The stat line, like Jalen Hurts threw for 16 yards in the second half. Like that's wild. Their defense is honestly keeping them in games too. So poor offensive production is not going to get it done. It's just not, unfortunately. It doesn't mean that the Eagles are just trash. I don't think they are. They do find ways to win, and Sunday was an example of that, right? But they've got now a resume or a body of work over the season in regards to the offense. It isn't good at all. It's very inefficient. So you're going to roll into the playoffs with that. You're going to get bounced. Sorry, Eagles fans. And I'm not being like a typical Cowboys fan. I'm not hating on them because I do think the Eagles are a good organization. They have really great players, right? Jalen Hurts is a good quarterback. He's not elite. Okay, so I don't want to hear that. But they have elite wide receivers. They have an elite, defensive tackle. And Jalen Carter is probably the most, outside of like Myles Garrett and maybe Michael Parsons when he was healthy, Jalen Carter is probably one of the most disruptive defensive players in the National Football League. Inside, as an interior lineman. They are different when he plays. Okay. So But overall, Eagles, if they can get their offense going, then they can probably make a run. But out of 18 weeks, I mean, I haven't seen it. So, if they do match up with the Rams in the first round, there's probably a good chance the Rams can win that game. It'll be a good game for sure. I think as a consumer of football, it'll be a great game. All right, TikTok, let's get the likes up, man. We're stuck right now at 1,000. Let's get the likes going, and let's make sure we share the stream right now too as well. And then the final team, the Green Bay Packers. I mean, listen, they're limping. What can I say? I mean, no Michael Parsons the rest of the year. Jordan Love, although he has it, but something about him sometimes, man. He's very inconsistent. And he's very susceptible when it comes to pressure. I mean, I know most quarterbacks are, right? That's stupid. It's a cliche thing to say, but I don't know, man. They're a good organization. They're a good franchise. I think they were all in with Micah Parsons, rightfully so, because they have this window. But I think when Micah went down, it just wasn't the same. I mean, who did they just played? Who did they just play over? I can't even think of who they just played over on the weekend on Saturday. Ravens, right? No Lamar Jackson, and you don't want to say blown out because the game was kind of like back and forth a little bit. 41-24 at home against Tyler Huntley, a guy nicknamed Snoop, right? Obviously, Derrick Henry ran roughshod over them, rightfully so. Excuse me. I just don't feel the Packers. I think they're cooked. They'll get in the playoffs, obviously, but they're probably going to get bounced out in the first round. Sorry, Packer fans. I'm just being honest with you guys. I'm not throwing hate because I got the Cowboys hat on. I'm just speaking honest. So let me know what you guys think in the comments there. Here on YouTube and Facebook. Let's head over to the chat room here, or the chat, excuse me. Ben, he says, I said a few weeks ago the Bills Super Bowl is in November every year. No, you're right. It kind of feels like that. Like they, I wanted to believe in them, but I don't know, man. Ben follows up, says Josh Allen is Buffalo is Josh Allen or bust. They go as he does, and when things don't go, Allen is prone to mistakes. I agree with that for sure. He also says Bills have been living off Josh Allen for the past few years. And of course, Christopher, got to put that damn emoji up there. And then Patrick says, Philly isn't beating the Rams, Niners, or Seahawks. Yeah, I can see that. Chris, speaking facts, bro, offense is off right now. Yeah. Not just now. I think the whole season, my guy. Defense and a bad pass kept us from losing. Yeah. Yeah, because if Josh Allen makes that throw, I mean, Bills win that game. QB is nice. B auditioned well in that game. And then Ben was just confirming it was the Rams. Yeah, it was Ravens. Ben says, I believe in Santa Claus at one time in my life as well. Right. So I don't know. What people on TikTok, what are you guys thinking, man? Like, is there another team that's in playoff contention you think should be on the cold list or on the hot list? Let me know. Let me know as we transition here. But we are stuck at 1,000 likes. I want to get it up, guys, to 2K. Can we get the likes up to 2K, y'all, and keep this show moving? So I do want to stay on a little longer on after the show is over, but I won't stay on unless we don't get it up to 2K. Just keeping it real for you guys. So, all right, moving on. Let's get down to these games that we're breaking down. All 16 games in the National Football League in the final week of the season. Week 18, man. That's I feel like I was just watching Cowboys Eagles on Thursday, like to open up the season, and now we're here. Like it just blows my mind how fast the season goes by. All right, so let's get into the matchups. Now we got Saturday Night Football. Two really good games. Two games that decide some seeding. We got Panthers at Buccaneers. The winner of this game will decide the winner of the NFC South. Yeah, that's crazy. Tampa Bay is favored at home, -2.5. Listen, Tampa Bay is not looking good right now. But I'll talk about them in just a second. In regards to keys to victory, it's pretty simple. Panthers, win the turnover battle. And for the Buccaneers, protect your quarterback and have a balanced attack. Baker Mayfield, for the love of God, just don't throw balls up, out, down the field, man. Just eat it, take the sack, live another down, and you might have a chance to win this game. Although the game is in Tampa Bay, I think Carolina is the better team overall right now. Todd Bowles, to me, although I do like him, he's done a lot for Tampa Bay, but I think that relationship is running its course. I think at the end of the day, I think it's time for them to move on from him. But I like Carolina in the money line, or if you want to bet plus 2.5, I like Carolina to win that game. Sorry, Ben, but to me, the Buccaneers haven't shown me a lot in the last couple of weeks. That's like, oh yeah. And trust me, I was big on the Buccaneers early in the season, man. Like, for sure. They started off really hot. Baker Mayfield was like an MVP contender. And then, some injuries. And then it's like, damn, what the hell happened to them? They just fell off. And I don't think they've been able to right the ship. All right, Seattle at the 49ers. -1.5. Seattle's favorite on the road. Ooh, this is going to be a good game. Keys to victory, again, turnover battles. Who will win the turnover battle will probably end up winning this game. Seattle has the edge on that. They do have the better defense at this point in time. 49ers continue to be balanced. Hopefully you get George Kittle back. That'll help their offense be balanced, get the play action going. Brock Purdy is playing lights out right now. However, bang, bang, Niner gang, I like the 49ers to win this game. I think this game in I think it's in Levi, right? Is it? Am I right? Yeah, it's in Levi Stadium. So I like the Niners to win this game and win the NFC West and be crowned the number 1 seeded team in the NFC. Fracking Buns on TikTok says Bucks ain't been right since my Pats beat them. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's probably true. All right, moving on. Packers at Vikings. Game's really, I don't know if this game means anything for the Packers. Vikings, I guess it's like pride. It's a divisional game. Vikings -6.5. Did I read that right? Is that true? Really? -6.5. Okay. Well, keys to victory. Packers efficient quarterback play, whether it's Malik Willis or Jordan Love. I don't know, man. I would assume Jordan Love has to get a couple series in this game just to kind of stay sharp after missing 2 games, right? Or do you not risk it and just throw Malik Willis in there and just let him finish out the year? Maybe that's why the line is -6.5 for the Vikings. I can only assume that. But efficient quarterback play, whoever the quarterback is, and protect the football for the Packers. And if you're the Vikings, win the trenches and be consistent in the passing game, whatever that looks like. If it's Nick Brosmer, whatever the kid's name is, I don't see it, but I still can't believe the Vikings are favored. Vikings did play really well last week, but I guess, I don't know, man. This is a tough one to me. I honestly, the Vikings are favored, but I think the Packers can win this game, even with Malik Willis, unless they just decided to pack it in because there's no meaning for this game for them. Maybe that's probably the reason why too. So, but I'll probably stay away from this game. Honestly, it's too many things for me. Yeah, absolutely right, Fracking Buns. This whole season has been up and down, back and right. I was telling someone in the chat earlier because I told him that the AFC is wide open. He's like, "What do you mean it's not wide?" Like he's like shaking my head. Like, what do you mean? Like, there's no clear cut team. Like, there isn't. Like, you got some stupid people on the internet. That's how I'll say that. I will say that. All right, you got Titans and Jaguars. Jaguars minus what 12.5. -12.5 spread on this one. Titans not a good football team at all. But again, limit mistakes when you run the football because you got a young quarterback back there. The Jags just, continue to play Jackson Jaguar football in Duval County. You should win this game. Will they cover? I don't think so. I think if this game, if they go up by 10 or so, they might start pulling guys. There might be some garbage points towards the end of this game. There's no reason for Trevor Lawrence to be in this game if the game is already in doubt. So I don't think they'll cover it -12.5. So I probably could take the Titans at +12.5 just because I don't think the game will cover. So, but Jaguars should win this game for sure. All right, Colts at Texans. the downfall of the Indianapolis Colts needs to be studied. Like 7-1 at one point, if I'm not mistaken. And then they just injuries to the quarterback and just went to shit. Excuse my French, but it just went to shit. Texans are -10 favorites. As far as the Colts, control the time of possession, keep the ball away from CJ and his offense, and try to win the trenches the best as you can. Run the football with Jonathan Taylor while he's still healthy in the last game. And as far as the Texans are concerned, just be consistent, be efficient. You don't have to be crazy here. The Colts pretty much have thrown up the white flag. And I don't even know if Phillip Rivers is playing this game. I think he might have played his last game anyway last week. So if it's Riley Leonard, Texans should win this game. So I like the Texans to cover this one. Cowboys at Giants. Listen, Cowboys, I would say, considering, what took place prior to the season, didn't think they would win the amount of games that they did. But granted, they didn't beat anybody good. So, Riley Leonard is, that's what I figured. So, Texans should win that. But back to the Cowboys, Cowboys for the most part, probably should have made that Micah Parsons trade before the draft. That way you get some picks to help you now. George Pickens acquisition looked like it was pretty beneficial, and there was a couple games there here late in the season where he's kind of he disappeared. But nonetheless, they have something to build for next year. Defense has to be the key for this team. They have a good quarterback. I don't want to hear it. And people that get on Dak Prescott that says he's a bum, you play quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys in the National Football League. Okay. It's very difficult. I get it. He's been in the league 10 years, hasn't had a lot to show for it. And a lot of it, sometimes he's played bad in some playoff games. I won't say he hasn't, because he has. But consistently, he hasn't had the support around him with either good defense, weapons, special teams. He hasn't had that perfect storm. Coaching. So I think if they can get the defense right and keep the offense the way it is now, maybe improve the line a little bit better, the Cowboys can make some noise. So this defense was bad this year. Very, very bad. And I don't think anyone could argue that. And Dak does not play defense. And when you're an offense and you got to come out and score literally every drive, it's nearly impossible to win like that. You're scoring 42 points and your defense is giving up 43, 44. It's not on him. So, and the Giants, Jackson Dart, is he the guy? I don't know. I like his swag a little bit, but he's very reckless. So I don't know if he's the future there. We'll see if he can stay healthy. But going into this game, Cowboys are favorite at home. I think Dak is going to play. Keys to victory. Oh, no, excuse me. Cowboys on the road. I take that back. They're going to have to get out fast. Fast, no turnovers, and maybe get a couple stops early in the game, get some points on the board, put this game to bed. Giants pressure the quarterback and exploit the weaknesses on the Cowboys defense, which is their linebackers. Kenneth Murray, again, I've never played linebacker. I did not play after high school. I get it. But Jesus Christ. Can I just say the guy is buns, man? Like he is terrible. He is terrible. So if they can find a way to find a mismatch for him, they can make this a game. Jackson Dart can run the football. So that's something the Cowboys have to be very alert for. But I like the Cowboys to win this game. I'm not being a homer, but I think they should win this game. Comments here. Patrick says Jerry should be on the phone with Brian Flores Monday morning. What, for the head coach? Because Brian Flores should be a head coach, not a defensive coordinator. He is a head coach. He is a head coach for sure. Brian Flores, shout out to him. He was right about Tua, by the way. He was. So, all right, guys, we're at 1.1 likes on TikTok. Let's get to 2,000. Can we get it? Spam the like button. Share the stream right now. If you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, man, get in the comments. You guys can hit the like button too. It takes like a second. Help your boy out. I'm trying to get to 1,000 followers on TikTok and 1,000 subscribers on YouTube here in the next 2 days, but I need your help as well. All right, moving on. We got Browns at Bengals. Bengals -8.5. Browns run, be physical. Play Browns football. Run the football, quick tempo. Shedeur Sanders can hit the deep ball. He can do that. Like, he can push the ball down the field. So see if you can exploit that every now and then against a really, really porous Cincinnati team. As far as the Bengals are concerned, protect your quarterback, Joe Burrow, at all costs. and try to expose Cleveland's secondary, although it's going to be tough because Myles Garrett is on the hunt for that all-time sack record. I think, but I think the Bengals have a little bit more firepower. Joe Burrow, coming back from injury, has been pretty good. With the exception of one game, he's been pretty locked in. I feel bad for him because he's in a shitty organization, but I like the Bengals to win this game. Patrick says, I believe everyone was right about Tua, who could see through his, yeah. Tua's a backup quarterback. All right, we got Saints at Falcons. Saints, 4 straight wins. Tyler Shuck looking to be maybe the guy there. I don't know. We'll see. As far as what's the line on this game? Atlanta -3.5 in Atlanta. The Falcons, man, they're one of those teams. Like anytime they do something good, they just reverse what they did the next week by doing something stupid. So you probably know where I'm going to go with this game. But before I give my picks, keys to victory: take control of the game early and stop the run. If you slow down Bijan Robinson, easier said than done. Easier said than done. I know that's not easy to do, but if you can do that, you got a chance. As far as the Falcons are concerned, you have a plethora of offensive weaponry on that team. Okay, between Bijan, Kyle Pitts, I think Drake London is still out, if I'm not mistaken, right? You still got guys like Tyler Algier. Like, they have guys, right? But mainly Bijan Robinson. That dude is a stud. Arguably one of the best prospects we've had in the National Football League in about 10 years or so, that outside of being a quarterback. If you do not think Bijan Robinson is a stud, then I don't know what to say. I don't know. You probably need to go to Lens Crafters and get your eyes checked, because Bijan Robinson is legit. He is that guy for sure. Arguably one of the best running backs in the National Football League, at least top 3, in my opinion. But overall, the Falcons, they do Falcon things. I like the Saints to go in, finish the season on a 5-game winning streak, and beat the Falcons. Simple as that, straight up. So shout out to the Saints there. All right, Dolphins and Patriots. Who cares, really? I'm not going to win keys to victory. Patriots should win this game. Cardinals, Rams, another game that doesn't mean anything. Rams should win this game. Lions and Bears. It is a divisional rivalry, but who cares? I don't think the Bears can really gain anything from this game. So Lions could win this game, because there's really no reason why the Bears should win this game or be in this game at all. Having their guys play, who knows? So not much to talk about that game, but I will say this about the Lions, because a lot of people, and yeah, Drake May is probably going to win the MVP for sure. But a lot of people, they were fooled by Dan Campbell. I was not fooled by him. I get it. He's won some games. He's turned the culture around in Detroit. That is one thing. But he is not an X's and O's type of coach. And the X's and O's guys that he had are no longer there, at least in Ben Johnson, right? And look, the offense is garbage. He is not the head coach that's going to get you to the promised land. He just isn't. I like Dan Campbell. Don't get me wrong. He's a great soundbite. He's a great story. He's a motivator. But when it comes to strategy on the field, I am not the type of guy that wants my coach to be a rah guy all the time. That's why I think Antonio Pierce was going to work in Las Vegas, because at some point you have to coach. You can't just keep giving the same speech over and over again, right? So although Dan Campbell has had a lot of success, when you lose your coordinators the way they did, you're seeing now that he isn't that kind of guy, unfortunately. So I'll leave it at that. Commanders, Eagles, who cares? I mean, at the end of the day, I had notes, but now I'm thinking about a lot of these games don't mean anything, to be honest with you. But if you're the Commanders, try to dominate, control tempo if you can. If you're the Eagles, pressure their quarterback and score in the red zone, right? This is the game that the Eagles need to probably get a little bit more confident in the offense to roll that over into the next week, right? So if there's anything that you want to tweak around here, this is the game to do that, right? Because I don't think their seeding is not going to be affected by it. At least I don't think so. Jets at Bills. Jets need to fire Aaron Glenn. Get him up out of there. I don't want to hear it, like, because people, oh, he's blind. It's like he's made the Jets worse. Who could have thought the Jets could have been worse from last year? Like, and he has. And it's unfortunate because I think Aaron Glenn is a good defensive coordinator, but he let what is the guy's name? I can't think off the top of my head. Steve Wilks, I think is his name, called the defense. Steve Wilks is terrible. Like, you are a defensive coordinator. Just call the plays. You can be the head coach and call the defense, man. Like why are you micromanaging this stuff to guys that are not even competent? The offense is a mess. The defense got worse. The Jets are just terrible. Terrible organization. Bills should win this game easily. They're what's the line on this game? -7. They should win easily. They'll cover that spread easily. All right, TikTok. Let's get up to 2K, man. We're stuck at 1.3. If you're watching on Facebook and YouTube, man, hit the like button, share the stream, subscribe to the channel. Let's keep it rolling. Chiefs at Raiders. This is a funny game. I mean, listen, I live in Vegas, so I wouldn't say I know a lot about the Raiders, but I catch a lot of the radio content out here. Chiefs, listen, the quarterback that you're rolling out there, he's good. He's good enough to beat the Raiders. I'll say that. And this is an interesting game because the Chiefs are undefeated here in Las Vegas. They have not lost a game to the Raiders here and in the Super Bowl. So they are undefeated in Allegiant Stadium. So maybe if there is some pride if there's a silver lining in all this, if you're a Chiefs fan, hey, we want to stay undefeated in Allegiant. So Raiders, I mean, they're garbage, man. Like, it's funny that they beat the Patriots week 1. And a lot of Raider fans are like, oh yeah, we're back. And they've only won 2 games. I forgot who the other team they beat. Like, they actually beat somebody else. That's the crazy part about it. Like, how do you think the Bears did against Dave? I'll answer that question if we can get to 2K. If we can get to 2K, I'll answer that question for you. Because I'm almost done with my picks here. All right, but at the end of the day, I think Chiefs will win this game. The Raiders are just that bad, period. Chargers at Broncos. This game is a little, I wouldn't say meaningful. Well, it is meaningful for the Broncos because they're trying to wrap up this number 1 seed. The Chargers are definitely trying to resurrect their season a little bit. Not a good loss against the Texans. So they have some writing to do, right? So I will say that. As far as keys to victory, find the rhythm. Find their rhythm for the Chargers, and get the running game going. Broncos control the clock and make your defense the forefront of this because you can't trust Bo Nix. But the game is in Denver, so I do like Denver to win this game in a close one. I like Denver to win this game. And finally, Ravens at Steelers to decide the AFC North, who will go to the playoffs and who will be going home. And this game may determine which coach is going to remain and who is going to get fired. Both coaches are on the hot seat, in my opinion. John Harbaugh, questionable decision-making down the stretch here, electing to not put Derrick Henry in the game the last 12 minutes of a game that you were winning and he was dominating. And then the week later, 36 carries, 200 some yards, 5 touchdowns, whatever it was. It's like, damn, it's that easy, right? Mike Tomlin, questionable play calling, decision-making too. So this is a big game. This is more than just who's going to make the playoffs. We're talking about livelihoods is in contention for this game. So the Ravens are favorite. They are at home. They're on the road. And rightfully so. I think they should be. They should be favored. I think the offense is a lot better than Pittsburgh's offense. That's for starters. So keys to victory, dominate the line of scrimmage early and often. And that's exactly what they did to Green Bay this past weekend. It was very early and present that the Ravens were like, we are going to give Derrick Henry the ball and we are just going to set it and forget it. He literally carried them to victory, right? They're going to have to do the same thing again this week and avoid turnovers, mind you. Pittsburgh. No DK. I don't even think TJ Watt's going to even play. I don't know. He should, if he can. I know he had the whole collapse lung thing, but this is playoffs we're talking about. And we're almost at 2K. So where's my boy at it? He asked the question about Benson, Dave Benson. I will answer your question. If we get to 2K, I haven't forgot you, brother. I will answer your question. Keep the questions going too, guys. Steelers defense is going to have to be front and center because this offense that they've had has been very inconsistent. 1 week, Aaron Rodgers looks pretty solid, and the next week it's like, damn, what the hell? So, all right, we're at two. Am I 2K? Okay, cool. I will get you a question right after this segment here. Okay, Dave, just a second here. Let me bring this in for a landing, my brother. I like the Ravens. I like the Ravens to win this game. Their offense is going to be better, whether it's Snoop Huntley or Lamar Jackson. Their offense is better. Period, hands down. And I think that's what's going to boil down to. So, and unfortunately, I think Mike Tomlin is probably going to be seeing the door for sure. All right, to answer Dave's question, let me go back and read it again just to make sure I have the proper context here. He said, and shout out to you guys for getting 2K. Appreciate you guys. How do you think the Bears did against the 49ers? You know, I think the Bears showed that they are not afraid. They can go on the road, play a very competent, experienced team like the 49ers and Brock Purdy and Kyle Shanahan and go toe to toe. Like that's what I wanted to see out of them. Couple plays where I think Caleb Williams missed. That's the one thing about it. Like he'll make a really great play, and then he'll have another play where you're like, damn, how did you miss that guy? Like it's bizarre. But I will say his play has been phenomenally better than last year, right? Because of course he's got a better coach. You know, they've got weapons. Like I was telling people early on the stream here, like I didn't know who Luther Burden was. Like I said, he sounds like an old R&B singer from like the 80s and 90s. Like, who is this guy? Like I heard about the kid Loveland, the rookie. Like he's phenomenal. Like, you know, the Monungi guy from Rutgers, like the Bears are a scary team, I would say. I was kind of overlooking them a little bit, but once I saw them go into Levi Stadium and go toe-to-toe with a team like the 49ers, granted the 49ers are have some guys missing, but I'm not gonna use that as an excuse because they've been playing quality football all season long. So does that answer your question, or at least my thoughts? I think the Bears, in the right situation, it's gonna come down to Caleb Williams. At the end of the day, it's going to come down to him. And if he can make those plays, that statement play when you need it, when you need to, like that throw he had against the Packers in overtime a couple weeks ago, that's the type of plays he's going to have to make. It's going to come up at some point, right? So does he have it in him? Absolutely he does. Absolutely he does. So to answer your question. So shout out to you, Dave. Appreciate it. If you haven't already sub to my channel, man. Appreciate you. And if you guys are watching right now, if you haven't subbed to Clutch Sports Talk, man, what are you waiting for? Let's get the likes up, man. I'm gonna wrap up the show here on YouTube, and I'll stick around here for the next couple minutes here and answer your questions if you guys have them here on TikTok. And if you guys want to transfer over from YouTube and Facebook to TikTok, man, by all means, do you. But let's read some final comments before we get up out of here, man, because we've been rolling here for a minute here. So Patrick says, if Atlanta play like they did Monday night every week, they'd be a fringe playoff team, incompetent quarterback play. And yeah, they're just inconsistent. I think Raheem Morris has gone out of there anyway. Detroit not having Ben Johnson was their key, was key to the offensive success. Absolutely. Pete Carroll and Geno Smith reunion didn't go as planned. Right. What did Geno say? Like, they wrote me off, but I didn't write back. Well, I'm glad you didn't write back because you suck. All right. Ravens wanted more than Pittsburgh. Yeah, I believe, man. Pittsburgh, to me, I don't know, man. I just don't see it. Yeah, Baltimore will beat Pittsburgh for sure this week. And my boy Chris, CJ Smooth. Great vid, bro. Appreciate you, man. So, all right, there you guys have it, man. Appreciate you guys. This is the final week of NFL matchups for the regular season. We'll be back next week, Tuesday, again. And next week, we'll be talking about divisional matchups going into the playoffs. Dust will be settled. We will know who is going to start the quest for the Lombardi Trophy, which will end in Levi Stadium in February. So we will not stop. NFL matches will continue to go strong as we progress through the playoffs and ultimately the Super Bowl. So keep us in mind. Keep me in mind, man. Sub to the channel as well. Share the content, like it. But other than that, I will be back next week, Tuesday, as usual, probably at the same time. So sit back. Well, not sit back, just sit tight, I would say. and we'll be back next week. So other than that, man, appreciate you guys, and Happy New Year to all of you guys. Be safe out there if you decide to go out. TikTok folks, hang around for a minute. I'll talk to you guys too as well. But again, Happy New Year to all of you guys. Be safe out there. Be sound. And like I always say, this is your boy Ryan Flowers, a.k.a. Clutch Sports Talk, in the house. NFL matchups. Never settle till the work is done. I'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Clutch Sports Talk. Let's go.